Welcome back to the channel, guys, or if you're new, welcome to the channel for the first time. I've been doing a little bit of a few parody videos and just a little bit of entertainment recently, as well as streams, but we're going to be going back to some informative content. Now today we're going to be covering a controversial subject for many people, which is Day 1 DLC. Now I don't know how far this goes, but I can provide you guys a lot of information and screenshots, and you can analyze this all for yourself and make what you want from it. I do promise a juicy video as always, and I hope you're looking forward to it. So with the intro done, let's get right into it as always. So the story starts out with the fact that recently I was made aware there was some updates for apparently Resident Evil 4 as well as Resident Evil 6, and this was on multiple different platforms. However, I did find out for Resident Evil 4 it was just apparently some shader changes, which, well, that's kind of interesting, I guess, on its own. But then also we couldn't really find out anything for Resident Evil 6. But my friend's actually good at data mining and things like that, and we actually checked out the beginning hour demo, because if you guys remember, there was a lot of information that was in the beginning hour demo. They basically revealed the whole game, but we found some interesting things in there, and we actually started to find out that there was a lot of the code, and I mean a lot of the code, already established for the actual DLCs. This means that some development time was taken away from the main game and was put into the DLCs instead, and these were pre-prepared. But considering Capcom then apparently, remember, delayed some of the DLCs because they weren't happy with the quality, that kind of means that they wasted time doing things that then amounted to nothing, and that could have been put into Resident Evil 7. So that in itself should alone annoy quite a few people. But then I'm also going to say that this data mine information actually comes from the vanilla version of the beginning hour demo and not even the updated versions later on. So let's get into some of this code anyway. Alright, this might look like a huge jumble of random text to some of you. Maybe some of you see what this is already, but don't worry if you don't, because Avid is here to help. Now before we get into it, I do want to say, literally 99% of companies pre-plan their DLC out even before the game has been released. And before anyone goes that's immoral, it's not. It is actually justifiable reasons for planning DLC. And the key word there is planning, like The Last of Us. And the reason for this is, when you're writing a story, of course, you have to think about DLC and how it's going to tie into it. Otherwise, you're just kind of writing using improvisation, and that's not really a good way to make a story. And so it being an industry standard is pretty understandable. It's normal. It'd be like Harry Potter with J.K. Rowling not actually planning out the next books until she'd finished the first one, and then just kind of like improvising it as she goes along. You know, it'd make for a lot less quality. So yeah, just wanted to get that out there and be clear on that. But let's get into the text itself. Now at the start, you guys can see here, we have bonus DLC 1, bonus DLC 2, 3, 4, etc. It goes on, and you can obviously understand this is the base code so that you can go into the main menu and establish and play which DLC you want. So it's already having some of the code set up. Now if we go on further to this, we have the Scorpion key, then we have normal boxes, we have rare boxes, we have super rare boxes, and we have legendary boxes. Does that remind you of anything, guys? Like Ethan Must Die DLC? Well, I've archived a little bit of footage for you guys here, and you can see the legendary boxes by rating. So here's the first tier, the second tier, the third tier, and the fourth tier. I'll show these over time, but as you can see, they have the stars above them, which shows the rating, and it completely lines up with the code of the game. So this kind of shows that they were already establishing and building these codes up. I'm not sure if the environments had been constructed or anything because that was hard to decrypt, but they definitely had all the code in for all of this stuff before the game had even been released. And remember, this was for the goddamn beginning, our demo. And let's not forget those stupid chests when you hit them they blew you up, because god damn, that annoyed the hell out of me. We also have Scream Finger Cut Death, and of course you guys remember that was from the poker game DLC where you played as Clancy Jarvis and you had to go against an opponent while Lucas kind of plays around with you and you can have your fingers cut off.
I guess you both lose. Why? Why, you fuck?
Radar caution none, radar caution near, and radar caution reached. I'm not sure exactly what these mean, but these could be for enemy states, maybe for aggro ranges and purposes, I'm not sure. Birthday game stage as well as birthday weapon, those are very self-explanatory. It's for the birthday DLC. Daughter's bad ending, daughter's true ending. That means the daughter DLC was also done and planned out. Now we have some other files such as look at tattoo, which is actually spelt wrong and the look at doesn't even have a space between it. Terrible English, lol. After that we have a lot of chapters, and these are disorganized and out of order, so it might look a little bit confusing. All of the environments don't actually have to be in order or the chapters in the base code as long as the triggers link properly between the environments, and sometimes developers, they develop later portions of the game before earlier portions. Some of them do it chronologically. It doesn't really change anything. The important thing to notice here is that we have a lot of DLC, guys, and this was all data mined from the goddamn beginning, our demo, the initial vanilla version. There was a hell of a lot of coding for all of this DLC. Now remember when I said planning DLC and writing based on a game's lore is fine? It is. It's fine because you've got to keep it consistent. However, this birthday DLC, the poker DLC, these had absolutely nothing to do with the plot. Neither did the basement or anything like that, and there's so much code for so many things. There's a lot more than I've shown here, guys. But yeah, there was a lot of things produced apparently before the game was even released, before the demo was even updated, for Christ's sakes. They already had DLC code. I'm not sure how many of you guys may feel about that, but I do want to hear your guys' opinions, because I remember BioShock 2 doing this and it was a huge controversy. And when it comes to non-lore or non-canon DLC, I do think it's a little bit shady of a tactic to do. So please do articulate your opinions below. It is really important for me to hear those things. But remember guys, try to keep the comments constructive please, and try not to get into arguments with each other. I don't want to have to censor people or remove opinions. I like the ability for people to play devil's advocate or disagree constructively, and I will be keeping eyes on the comments. So just try to be aware of that and please push for that kind of mentality. Now what I do want to say is, because we couldn't decrypt the files completely, we don't know if the environments were also established. Of course they used the base Baker Mansion and Residence as the basis for the DLC, but there was some modifications to the areas and changes to them as well, so who knows, did they take a lot of time away from the base game of Resident Evil 7 to develop these? That's the kind of issue I am currently questioning, and I'm wondering whether they did or not. If anyone in the future can go data mine the demo and does actually manage to decrypt the files and see if the environments are in there, I would greatly appreciate it. But apparently decrypting Resident Evil 7's files has been extremely tediously difficult, especially for environments, so good luck with that job if you do decide to take it upon yourself. I just wanted to share this with you guys because I do think it is an important piece of information, and the gaming industry needs to cut this kind of stuff out. Now, as always guys, if you did enjoy the video, go and share it with your cousin so that you can go have some quality family bonding and get to know them better. Now I do want to say as well, I've also got a Patreon if you want to donate to that, because I put a lot of research and effort into every single one of my videos, and I'm going to be doing a lot more live streaming soon. I'm not really sure of a schedule. It'll probably be around 6 to 7 PM UTC time zone, so try to look out for that. I'll be always streaming various horror games, but maybe I'll expand into other stuff if people do request it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, we've got a Discord community if you want to come join that. It's always in the description, and I'll also leave a link to it in the pinned comment. I hope you had a beautiful day. As always, take it easy and love Artux.